Welcome and hi, I am Aaran Leyland from Restricted Access, and this is your Security Weekly News wrap-up show. We will have LOG4J, myPro, Apache's new security update, Microsoft Office vulnerability, delivery scam, texts, and a whole lot more on this week's Security Weekly News wrap-up show.
This is Security Weekly, for security professionals, by security professionals.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
It's the show that keeps you up to date on the latest security news twice a week, your trusted source for accurate security information and expert analysis. It's time for Security Weekly News. Every 11 seconds, there's a new ransomware attack. Oil pipelines, universities, corporations, all paying millions of dollars. Barracuda says, don't pay the ransom. Before a ransomware attack occurs, train your teams to recognize an attack and use anti-phishing technology. Protect your applications, and they can't get onto your network. Simple backup and restore solutions quickly recover your data without paying the ransom. Build your ransomware protection plan now by visiting securityweekly.com/Barracuda. That's securityweekly.com/Barracuda.
You were tuning in to find the wonderful, apparently ambidextrous Dr. Doug. You're going to have to wait until next year to get your fix. You're also going to have to wait until 2022 to hear from the very fancy-footed Sir Jason Wood, new Knight of Cyber, recently given this great title from a cyber queen he met in the metaverse. That's not the evil Facebook metaverse, who have just banned me for 29 days today, just before Christmas. That is the real metaverse where real people do real cool stuff that's not evil. Anyway, enough of the dad jokes. It is December 23, 2021, and what a year it has been, my dear listener. This is the last Security Weekly News production. I was going to say this is the last Security Weekly News production, but then I remembered you've got one that follows shortly after me. So tune in for that as well, and I'll tell you what's going to happen in it in a minute. So anyway, this was going to be an annual wrap-up. I was going to tell you about everything that happened this year. But Paul Asadorian and Dr. Doug both told me separately that I am not allowed to review the whole year. Anyway, I'm not one to follow guidance or even direct orders. So here we go. COVID-19 Delta variant, sounds like Transformer variant, Log4J variant, nearly Christmas with an outlook of years and years of COVID and Log4J. Woo! Anyway, it's Christmas Eve for no other reason than me using it as an excuse to have a rum at 10 a.m. this morning. Normally, my excuse is that it makes me a pirate if I have rum at 10 a.m. R. How do they go? R. Why are pirates called pirates? Because they are. Anyway, so my festive cyber hearties, the rundown of this week's entertainment has gone somewhat like this. Application Security Weekly was the first show of the week, number 178, and it had a cool title, Fuzzing Like It's 1999. They talked about Log4J as more updates and more vulnerabilities, apparently, but not much more heartburn or not more heartburn. I'm sure there's endless heartburn to come for the next couple of years over Log4J. But anyway, revisiting outages and whether availability has made it into your threat models. There was a deep dive into hardware security, another data point on Bug Bounty Awards, and looking at risk topics for the year. They went out stating that this completes another year of the podcast. Oh, they're so sweet. And a very heartfelt thank you to all our listeners, and a special thank you and shout out to the crew that helps make this possible every week. They even named them Johnny, Gus, Sam, and Rennie. Forgot how to say Rennie's name. Anyway, they went, I'm going to get my bum kicked. They further went out stating that we'll keep the new wave post-punk, movie and pop culture references coming for all the AppSec and DevOps topics you can throw our way. Thanks again, everyone. Oh, they're so cute. Anyway, on Security Weekly News, show number 175 earlier this week, Dr. Doug talked Conti. That's Conti, and that wasn't my phone fell off my shelf. Like my dog fell off my desk earlier, but that's a video that you might never see because I don't have Facebook. Anyway, Log4J2, Log4Shell Redux, the Return of the Joker, your car's warranty is expired, have I been pwned? I love that. Soho, Microsoft, and apparently much, much more. All that, and obviously expert commentary of Sir Jason Wood and Doug's farewell to 2021. Cute. Okay, on Business Security Weekly, episode number 244, The Art of Negotiation. If any of you have a toddler or a young child, it's literally like living your lives in a negotiation with terrorists. But anyway, this is the one where Matt Alderman wore his favorite suit. There was Ben Carr, Dockerized, Jason Albuquerque with the best name in the world, Life of a Virtual CISO, apparently some more Matt Alderman, Not Compliance. I'm going to have to watch that. So Compliance Weekly might have a problem with Not Compliance. But anyway, Risk Management, Security Care Warriors, Security Certification, Security Degree, Security Policy, the Current State of Privacy, and Software Development. And Travis Isaacson puts his teeth back in. Security Compliance Weekly Show number 99, the Security Hippie Part 2. And that was authors of Why CISOs Fail, joined to tell us about the success of his first book, and it is a great book, as well as introduce us to his forthcoming book, Security Hippie. Barack is best known for pioneering. This is so long. It's like this guy is cool. Best known for pioneering the concept of the virtual or fractional CISO model nearly 2 decades ago. Crazy. Over the 20 years since then, he has applied that model and strategy to building, managing, and counseling security, counseling security departments across countless and diverse organizations. And wait to hear them, including, I wish organizations let me talk about me doing cyber for them, but most of them want to forget it. Anyway, including MuleSoft, Amplitude, Analytics, Live Nation, Ticketmaster, StubHub, Barnes & Noble, BB Stories, and many, many more. The goal of his new book is to convey security concepts in the form of telling stories. And just sort of bringing it down a little bit, a special mention, and if you've seen the show or we're on the show, I've got a link here so people can leave heartfelt messages for Hannah, Jeff's granddaughter, who's going through a rough time at the minute. And if you can go over there to caringbridge.org/visit/Hannah, that's Hannah Palindrome Hannah, HANNAHMAN, or you can go over to the show notes for SCW for the link and show Hannah that our community cares about her. Okay. Then on Thursday, which I guess was yesterday, Paul Security Weekly show number 722, which means that Paul is definitely really old. But as you know, the show is as fresh as ever and contains some of my favorite presenters. The show included the greatest exploit in the world, throw some more logs on the Log4j fire, lock picking with a zip tie, hacking metal detectors. Please disclose your vulnerabilities here. Bugs in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth have an interesting relationship. Not so secret backdoors. Taking over domain controllers and an interesting pre-copulatory, I hope I said that correctly, behavior in Darkling beetles. I was on my Christmas do last night, so I missed that one. I will be heading straight over there to find out about the beetles. Okay, and the show after this, Enterprise Security Weekly, show number 254. In this week, there will be the art of VC valuations, a lie, no name security hits unicorn status. I didn't even realize I met some guys from No Name Security a few weeks ago, and they're great guys, and it's great what they're doing. But anyway, unicorn status, that's pretty cool. Daz sounds like an 80s cartoon character and is the latest to join the CSPM category with a Mega Series A. Cool. LogMeIn spins out LastPass, and they talked about Log4Shell for a little bit, but I'm told, or they will talk about Log4Shell, because it's not happened yet, for a little bit, but not too much, I'm told. And then apparently everybody forgot that AWS had an outage last week, at least until they had an outage this week. 83%. It sounded like Santa Claus there. 83% of IT professionals can't guarantee infrastructure is safe from ex-employees. I would say it's probably more. And Senate approves cyber-loaded defense bill, but stripped out incident reporting. Crazy Senate people, whatever were you thinking? So come to the tail end of this week and the tail end of the year. Here are the stories that caught even my post-Christmas party eye this morning. Story 1. The Hacker News report that CISA, FBI, and NSA published joint advisory and scanner for Log4J vulnerabilities. So head over there if you're not already dripping in Log4J advisories and scanners. Next story. Security Week is reporting that several critical vulnerabilities found in myPro HMI/SCADA, SCADA, product. A researcher has found 12 vulnerabilities in the myPro product of Czech industrial automation company mySCADA, including several flaws that have been assigned a critical severity rating. The US Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency has issued 2 advisories to inform organizations about these vulnerabilities. One advisory was released way back when in August, although August only feels like yesterday, what has happened this year, and one on this month, in fact. The researcher who discovered the security holes, Michael Heinzel, has also made available advisories describing each issue. myPro HMI SCADA vulnerabilities. myPro is a human-machine interface and supervisory control and data acquisition, SCADA system, designed for visualizing and controlling industrial processes. The product can run on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, including servers, PCs, and even embedded devices. According to CISA, the product affected is used worldwide in energy, food, and agriculture, water, and transportation system sectors. Information provided on vendors' website shows that most of its customers are in Europe. This is pretty bad, to be fair, especially when you're looking at nation-state adversaries and looking to implant stuff if, I don't know, say Russia go to war with Ukraine or something ridiculous like that. Anyway, story 3, ZDNet reports that Apache's new security update for HTTP server fixes 2 flaws. Apache having a great year, maybe time for a name change for 2022 Apache. Jokes, great work as always. The Apache Software Foundation has released an update to address a critical flaw in its hugely popular web server that allows remote attackers to take control of a vulnerable system. The Foundation has released version 2.4.52 of the Apache HTTP web server that addresses 2 flaws tracked as CVE 2021 44790 and CVE 2021 44224, which have representative CVS scores of 9.8, and which is obviously a critical, and 8.2, which is a high, and that's obviously out of 10. It says here a score of 9.8 is very bad. Yes, it is. and in recent weeks has only been topped by Log4J vulnerability, known as Log4Shell. Steve Brain, that Log4J is for you. And obviously that had a severity, or still does have a severity score of 10 out of 10. The first Apache web server flaw is a memory-related buffer overflow affecting Apache HTTP server 2.4.51 and earlier. The CISA warns it may allow a remote attacker to take control of an affected system. The less serious flaw allows for a server-side request forgery in Apache HTTP server 2.4.7 all the way up to 2.4.51. Okay, number 4. Security Week reports that cyber criminals have found a way to bypass the patch it's like patching. You got to patches, all them patches. Cyber criminals have found a way to bypass the patch for a recent Microsoft Office vulnerability and leveraged it to briefly distribute formbook malware, Sophos reports. Okay, this is tracked as CVE 2021-40444, and you're not going to remember any of these because there's only one CVE you're really going to remember this year. But anyway, so this is affecting MS-HTML file format. The security defect can be exploited to achieve a remote code execution on vulnerable systems. An attacker looking to exploit the bug needs to trick the intended victim into opening a maliciously crafted document. So not quite remote code execution there, but it obviously needs a human interaction to get remote code execution, which, as we all know, isn't that difficult with some users. So it was publicly disclosed on September 7 after attacks exploiting it were identified. Security error was addressed with the September 2021 Patch Tuesday updates. Proof of concept code targeting the bug was also published, and exploitation activity intensified. The patch that Microsoft provided was meant to prevent the execution of code to download a Microsoft Cabinet CAB archive containing a malicious executable. However, it appears that the attackers found ways to bypass the patch by incorporating a Word document in a specifically crafted RAR archive. Sophos says the attackers distributed the archives as part of a spam email campaign that lasted roughly, so you can actually go back and see when this came through, roughly 36 hours on October 24 and 25. Before completely disappearing, which suggests, and I would agree, the attack was a dry run experiment. Loads of stuff about PowerShell, and just you can go and read that story if you want further details. Okay, info security report that consumers have been warned to stay vigilant of delivery scams while online shopping for Christmas and during the Boxing Day sales. And I know none of you Wiley, and I realized earlier I didn't know how to spell Wiley, and I still don't know how to spell Wiley. Anyway, I know that none of you Wiley InfoSec professionals will get caught out, but instead of a joke in your Christmas cracker over the dinner table, maybe you can give these wise words, I'm thinking wise men, these wise words to your family over dinner, leaving the jokes to me, and then following it up with having them only remember your Christmas talk on the merits of two-factor authentication. You can tell that Christmas at the Leyland household is going to be one to remember this year. Okay, they say always finish on a high. So a good fortune story for someone to finish out this year for Security Weekly News. On December 1st, 2021, the Tokyo police arrested an employee of Sony Life Insurance on suspicion of fraudulently obtaining 17 billion yen through an illegal money transfer from an overseas unit. On the same day, 3,879 Bitcoins, which at that time was worth about $150 million, were seized by law enforcement And on December 20, the US government took action in federal court to return it back to Sony. Sony having a better year than previous years. Okay. The funds were embezzled by the Sony employer Reissue, who, pretending to conduct a legal fund transfer in May 2021, he allegedly transferred the money from the SA Reinsurance Limited bank account to a different bank account overseas by falsifying transaction instructions, which caused the funds to be transferred to an account that Ishii controlled at a bank in La Jolla, California. He then quickly converted the funds to Bitcoins, apparently as criminals do. That is such a throwaway statement. Oh. Anyway, although Sony had a double authentication process set up for international money transfers, this is where it gets interesting, requiring both Ishii and his supervisor to sign them off. Ishii is said to have instructed the company's bank to change the contact email address for his boss, which enabled him to initiate and sign off money transfers. Quite smart, Ishii, but it's all looking very trackable. But anyway, Sony Life Insurance discovered the unapproved money transfer in August, and US law enforcement were able to trace the Bitcoin transfers to a specific Bitcoin address and then to an offline cryptocurrency cold wallet. So they go on about the recovery. The FBI in cooperation with Japan's National Police Agency, the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department, Tokyo District Public Prosecution's Office, loads of people. Okay. And they obtained the private key needed to control the Bitcoin address. This allowed them to recover all the Bitcoins that could be traced back to the theft. Go over there if you want to read some more. But what I took from this story is to maybe learn more about cryptocurrency so you can hide your money better. Or maybe I should learn more about cryptocurrency because my portfolio is tanking again. But anyway, I do not endorse fraudulently obtaining 17 billion yen, but I do endorse good practice. Okay, that is it for me for the year. Don't roll the credits yet. I hope to see you all again next year. Thank you to all the listeners of all our shows. It's you that makes the community I love so much and enable me to have my best job in the world. Thank you to all my friends behind the scenes who without them would be nothing close. See, this is the problem. They should be talking. Who behind the scenes, who with them would be nothing close to the professionalism there is. You would never know I wrote this. Okay, thank you to Dr. Doug for allowing me to have the reins. It says there, thank you to Dr. Doug for allowing you to have the reins. But anyway, and a special mention to my good friend and fan of the show and fan of the network, Steve Brain, for trying to coerce me into doing this show without mentioning Log4J. Have a great Christmas and a wonderful New Year. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the splinters on the banister of life all be facing the right way. May the rains fall soft upon your face until we meet again. May your God hold you in the palm of his hand. Happy Christmas, I repeat.